Why should Americans care about freedom or socialism in Asia?
Well, in particular, Americans should care about it in all of Asia, and in particular in South Korea, a country that I'm interested in, because that's an area of the world vital to us. It's vital in terms of our competition with the Chinese communists. It's vital in terms of the fact that the huge majority of the world's population live there. In terms of South Korea, it's important for Americans to worry about because of the long-standing deep ties we have with that country, beginning with the Korean War and the sacrifices that Americans made there, the blood sacrifices to maintain the freedom of that country, the fact that South Korea is a U.S. ally. All of those combine to make it a region, and particularly the Republic of Korea, a country which is vital to us and which we should be interested in.
How about the proliferation of socialism there as connected with a global socialist movement?
That's a big issue now in Korea. There's a big ideological struggle there between the left and the right, which had been simmering for years, but had been brought out into the open recently because they have a very left-wing government there now in South Korea, the government of Moon Jae-in, and the conservatives there are now taking a strong they're taking strong activism against him, and the conservative movement is blossoming, and they're protesting against the imposition of socialistic policies on their country.
Is that a risk for the election of democratic socialists or Democrats from this new neo-democrat controlled Democratic Party?
Well, interesting you mentioned the Democratic Party. That happens to be the name of the leftist party in Korea. It's called the Democratic Party, and they're very radical, and they tend to have anti-Americanism in their historical DNA, you might say. They're not the pro-American party. That's the conservatives in South Korea. So that's a trend against which the Korean conservatives and Korean-American conservatives are struggling against.
But could it be a threat to us in our upcoming election? This growth from China, for instance, or Russia, but spreading through Asia and other countries?
Well, with China, we have the trade dispute, and of course, we also have pre-existing ongoing disputes over the Taiwan issue and their militarization of these man-made islands they have in the South China Sea. So that could blow up any time because of the supranationalism and the Chinese communist aggression shown by their leader, Mr. Xi.
Right. But I mean, is there a risk from within here in the United States? A socialist or a communist? I know we know Rush Limbaugh refers to the Chi-Coms as a domestic threat as well.
Well, I happen to be, in particular, an expert, recognized as such, simply because it's not known to many people, the phenomenon of pro-North Korean activities in the U.S. And I monitor, expose, and thankfully in some cases frustrate what many people don't realize exists, which is pro-North Korean groups and individuals here in the U.S., both a few within the Korean community, of course a tiny minority, but also the more traditional American Marxists and leftists of various stripes who are sympathetic to North Korea. And in collaboration with local Korean American conservatives, I push back and fight against these folks.